Hi everybody, and welcome to Orthodoxy 101. This is part one of a two-part series about icons. Now today we're specifically going to talk about the controversies and the history of icons. Now I know that among certainly Jewish, Muslim, and Protestant, the idea of icons is very controversial and very misunderstood. Some of that has to do with the history of human involvement with icons, and some of it is just a misunderstanding. And so what I want to do today is clear up those misunderstandings and explain how the Orthodox Church uses icons within her worship services. So the controversy of icons really stems foundationally from the second commandment. Thou shalt not make images or idols of anything on heaven or on earth. Now that prohibition doesn't extend now to all living things. If we look at the very Judaic interpretation of that, it means that we can't express things that are of a divine nature. So this is why the prohibition against now representing Jesus. But from an Orthodox perspective, God becomes man. So he is fully man, fully God, but he's fully man. And so in that sense, we are depicting now somebody historically who was living on earth. And so we don't see that as a violation of that commandment, just as we see then the Virgin Mary, who clearly was born on earth also. And in fact, in the Orthodox Church, there are some heretical icons where you see a depiction of God the Father, and the Orthodox Church does not allow those icons for that very prohibition of the second commandment. Now, having said all that, what is the role of icons historically in the church? Well, we have evidence of the ancient church having had icons. In fact, St. Luke himself is credited with having painted the first icon of the Virgin Mary. But around the 6th or 7th century, people started abusing icons, meaning that they started worshiping the icon and not venerating the icon, and that led to what is called the iconoclastic period, which led to now icons being removed from the church. Now, later on with the ecumenical councils and Empress Theodora, the icons were restored to the place of veneration in the Orthodox Church. And to this day, the Orthodox Church reserves the Sunday of Orthodoxy to proclaim the proper use of icons in the Orthodox Church. From the Seventh Ecumenical Council, it states, "We define that holy icons, whether in color, mosaic, or some other material, wherever these representations are contemplated, they shall be called to look at them and commemorate. They are objects of veneration and honor, but not of real worship, which is reserved for him who is the subject of our faith." So now let's talk about why the Orthodox Church has icons. Well, there's four primary reasons. Number one, they enhance the overall beauty of the church. Now, the second reason for icons is a very practical reason. Many people of the early church were illiterate, and so scripture or written word was closed to them. So by now depicting events of scripture in a drawing, now what we have is the ability for people to understand the lessons of the Bible and the people of the Bible. Take this icon, for example. Clearly what is being indicated here, Jesus Christ as a young child born of a woman. So there's the education, there's the lesson that comes with that. Now the last 2 points are meant to elicit an emotional response for us. The Orthodox Church wants now our spirituality, not a vague spirituality, but a very concrete and directed spirituality, and wants to raise both our minds and our hearts to that divine level. And let's take the example of this icon here. What we see here, the emotion that is generated here, is the love of a mother for her child. Even with Jesus Christ being born the Son of God, that love, that same love that God the Father has for all of His children, is being depicted here and raises that emotion. Secondly, we now also, as the Orthodox Church, we venerate, not worship, we venerate the image that is being depicted here. Now, certainly we worship Jesus Christ, but we venerate the Virgin Mary for her role in the salvation of the human race. Thanks for joining us on Orthodoxy 101. Now, next week we'll talk about the purpose and the styles of icons. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our videos.